Cooking with the vegan zombie.
Baby, it's cold outside. You know what that means? Soup season is upon us. So tonight, we are gonna make a delicious potato chowder with some shiitake mushrooms diced up in there as well. It's gonna be yummy, and I think you're gonna love it. Let's get started. Now, I normally like to make this in a double batch, but for the video, I'm just gonna make a single batch. I'll show you how much that makes, and then you be the judge how much you wanna make. I have one large onion in a small dice. I'm going to start sauteing that up in my soup pot right now with a little bit of olive oil. About 2 tablespoons of olive oil, give or take. All right, so I'm gonna put in a little bit of salt just so that the onions sweat and don't caramelize, because I don't want them to turn a different color. I want a really nice white soup for the base. I just love the sound of that sizzle. We're gonna sweat these bad boys for about 5 minutes. I peeled 2 medium-sized red potatoes. I just took the peels off mostly because I want to keep it a white soup. You can leave the peels on, but it's just gonna turn a funky color on you, but it's gonna be delicious. I know from personal experience. And I have a small dice on them because I want them to cook really quickly so I can blend them up in about 20 minutes or so. All right, we're gonna add those now. Taters, we're gonna let this saute for about 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna add 3 cloves of minced garlic. Actually, it's 3 cloves of garlic that I minced. Toss that in. You're gonna stir this for another minute or so. You don't want to let that garlic turn brown on you. You don't wanna take the garlic to Brown Town. Once you've sizzled up that garlic, you're gonna add 4 cups of veggie stock. You can use just plain water. You'll just have to adjust your seasonings later in the process. You're gonna wanna bring this to a boil, cover it, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes until the potatoes are nice and fork tender. Hey, have I ever whipped out my immersion blender for you guys? Well, if I haven't, meet my immersion blender. So much better than dumping this thing into a Vitamix or Blendtec, because hot liquids are not a blender's friend. This, you just dip your stick in there and turn it on until it's a fine, creamy, smooth consistency. So that's what we're gonna do. I have the heat turned off until I'm finished with it. And here we go. Here I go, here I go, here I go again, girls. What's my weakness, man? Okay, then, chillin', willin'. No. Am I good? Are we on? Check this out. The stock made it a really nice golden color. If you use just water with the red potatoes and you peel the skins off, you'll have more of a white base, but I kind of like this golden color we got going on here. Now, we are gonna make this a nice chunky soup. Is it technically a chowder? No, it's actually a chunky soup, but doesn't chowder sound cooler? You know, if you want something like clam chowder, but without the clam, right? So that's what we're doing. All I have to do now are dice up these 3 small red potatoes. I'm gonna leave the skins on this time because this is actually gonna be a chunky part of the soup. And a really good tip for cutting potatoes is to cut a flat side like that, and then you can cut nice, uniform chunks to the layperson. This is the size of the chunk that I'm going for. Nice little bite-sized taters for your chewing pleasure. I love that dog. I got my potatoes all chopped up. We're gonna add that to the soup. And now I'm gonna turn the soup on to a light simmer, a medium heat. I'm gonna stir in a 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of thyme, 1 teaspoon of sage, and 1 teaspoon of margarine. That's marjoram with an M, not butter. And a little bit more salt. Now you're gonna adjust the salt to your liking. I have about 2 teaspoons in here right now, but you'll want to salt this at the end as well. If it's a little too thick at this point, because every potato acts different. No 2 potatoes are the same based on science. So if you're a little too thick right now with your soup consistency, add a little more stock or a little more water to thin it out a little bit. Because remember, as this cooks down, the starch of the potato is going to release into the soup, thus thickening up your soup. I got it covered up and it's on a medium-low heat, simmering very gently. We just want to cook those potatoes. Whilst the potatoes are cooking, we are going to make our mushroom. We're not making a mushroom. I mean, the mushrooms are already made, but we are going to make almost a smoky, bacony flavored mushroom to kind of add that meaty texture to the soup. We're gonna start by cutting up 1 large shallot, or 2 small ones. You're basically looking for 1/4 to 1/2 cup of shallots. You be the judge. Get a nice small dice, because this is actually gonna be in the soup. It's not gonna get blended anymore. And we're gonna take about, I don't know, 6, 7 shiitake mushrooms, and cut them into nice small cubes. My favorite mushroom is the shiitake. I don't know why, I need it. I need that shiitake. All right, I'm gonna cube these bad boys up right here. I got a little bit of olive oil up in this saute pan, and we're gonna add our shallots. We're gonna lightly saute these for about a minute without the mushrooms. And now we add the shiitake. Toss those up a little bit. Oop, man down. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of liquid aminos and 2 teaspoons of liquid smoke. I love this addition because it adds such a great depth to the soup. I think you guys will love it as well. Really smoky, chewy, delicious texture. We're gonna let that cook down for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna add it right to the soup. A lot of people always ask me, hey John, why are you always using dried herbs? Well, let me tell you, dried herbs hold up a lot better in a soup when you're cooking it over a long period of time, or in the oven when you're baking at a high temperature. If you're gonna use fresh herbs, do it at the very end of your soup and stir it in nice and gently about 5 minutes before serving. Fresh herbs tend to get destroyed in high heat, so we are gonna add some fresh chives. I'm gonna stir a little bit in the soup, and I'm also gonna top it. Our shiitake mushrooms are all done. At this point, you're gonna wanna add it to the soup. I love to deglaze the pan with a little bit of white wine if you like to cook with white wine, or just take a little bit of the soup, pour it into here, give it a good stir. You wanna get all the flavors off the bottom of the pan. That's what I'm trying to do. And then add it to the soup. While everything is in here cooking, now is the time to season to taste. You're gonna put some fresh cracked pepper in there, and a little bit of sea salt. 2-3 cups should be fine of salt. All right, we're gonna toss in, I don't know, a 1/4 cup of fresh chopped chives. Stir those in. Oh, that is a beautiful golden soup if I've ever seen one. Now we're just gonna top it off with a couple of fresh chives on top. So all in all, from start to finish, it takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, you know, if you want to count some prepped, if you're a slow cutter. And it serves 6 to 8 people, depending how hungry you are, Indy. And now it's time to give this a little try, or a big try. I put a little bit of hot sauce on top to give it that little zing. That's optional, but I recommend it. So I have about 2 chunks of potato for 1 chunk of mushroom. That's the ratio I'm going for in my spoonful. And it's great. It's a great mouthfeel with the potatoes. The salt, it just really comes through, but it's not over salty. Don't get me wrong. And then that smokiness coming from the mushrooms. It's really, really a delicious soup. It's nice and creamy. And you know what, guys? It's good stick to your bones kind of soup, and it's freezing outside, so I really recommend munching down a bowl of this soup in a nice cold area if that's where you live, or in a warm area. I mean, I don't care. Don't forget, subscribe, survive, and eat this soup to help get you through the winter season.